The search for Kristy Kelley met a tragic end. Her body found in her SUV submerged at the bottom of a lake in Boonville, Indiana. The coroner quickly ruling Kristy's death an accidental drowning, and Sheriff Brett Cruz closed the case and sealed the file.
Did you ever ask the sheriff or any of the deputies or investigators that question point blank? Why are you not looking into this death further?
To be honest, I never really asked him that question. All I know is I wish the case would be reopened, and let's try to find some answers as to why it's sealed.
Kristy's parents always suspected their daughter's death was no accident.
I just want to know the truth, what happened to her. I want to know what happened that night.
So desperate to know, Todd and his wife took an extraordinary step, hiring attorney April Edwards to dig for answers possibly hidden in the closed file on their daughter's death.
Sheriff Cruz indicated to me that it was an accident and it was closed.
That's it. So he's been flat out. It's an accident.
Right.
But we're not going to hand over these records.
Yes.
The investigators' theory is that Kristy had too much to drink, veered off the road, and landed in the lake. But Tommy, the bar manager at the VFW, said she didn't seem drunk when he last saw her.
The other night, she was walking fine, she was talking fine, you know, she wasn't slurring.
Investigators do say their theory is Kristy was drunk and she went off the road into the lake and drowned. Do you buy that?
No.
Why not?
In talking with the pathologist, he explained to me how as the body decomposes, it produces ethanol. Ethanol reads as alcohol in your toxicology. Her toxicology was only a 0.112, so she had been probably around a 0.05, and that would be nowhere near incapacitated.
Could the answers possibly be hidden in security camera footage now sealed in the closed file that captured what appeared to be Kristy as she left the bar?
She'd leave the VFW, you'd make a right, which would be indicative of her coming toward her house. But yet she's found 4 miles south of town.
The sheriff believes Kristy was speeding southbound on Mount Gilead Road. They say she blew past the stop sign and careened into the lake. But Todd says when he searched the area, he made a chilling discovery.
Todd, what is significant about this location?
This is the location where we found parts of Kristy's vehicle. It was the passenger side fender well. It was later determined that's what it came from.
Todd says the fender was from Kristy's own car, far from where she was found dead.
More than a mile away
Yes.
from the alleged crash site.
Yes. When they pulled it from the lake, was a lot more damage than should have just been caused by water. This is what led us to look to try to figure out, what happened.
And another disturbing find when Kristy was recovered from the lake. Her body had no bruises or injuries that would be expected in a violent car crash.
I mean, did she have any wounds on her?
Nothing. Nothing to indicate any type of bleeding, contusions, scratches, cuts, not a broken fingernail. Her body is pristine. So to me, that doesn't make sense.
And April Edwards says investigators were well aware of another bizarre detail. When they pulled the SUV from the water, the gear shift was in park, and her keys were in her pocket.
Why do you take the keys out and put them in your pocket? Why do you why do you put the car in park? That, to me, is extremely odd. Because I would think that most people's instant reaction would be, hey, yike, I better get out of here.
Even more shocking, April says her body was found in the back seat.
How does law enforcement theorize that she ended up there?
The information that was made available to me indicates that she could have either crawled there or that she could have floated there. I'm not sure I buy into the floating theory because there was a big car seat. She had children.
Which begs the second question. Could Kristy have been the victim of foul play?
There's a possibility that needs to be investigated that this was all staged to look like an accident.
In my mind, it's possible that somebody abducted her and kept her for a couple of days or a week until they realized that the heat was getting tight and they had to dispose of the car and the body.
If Kristy was abducted, who would want to take her? Or was it a random attack by someone much closer to home?
One of Kristy's exes, the father, has been with the department for 30 years.
April tells us that one of Kristy's exes has connections to the sheriff's department investigating the case.
If there was a cover-up or someone's being protected, that's where it would happen.
I think that most people would reach that conclusion. This particular person made a misleading statement to the people investigating her disappearance. He'd indicated that she had disappeared before, one time for 4 days and one time for 2 days, when in fact that's patently false.
The FBI did help the family get a hold of the data in Kristy's cell, even generating a 6,000-page transcript of her texts. And what was discovered in her digital footprint was chilling.
Her text messages had reflected that an ex had made some threats toward her within the week before she disappeared.
So far, the family hasn't been able to connect the dots on the text exchange. Were they just idle threats or something far more sinister?
So these texts of a sexual nature?
There was one shortly before her disappearance that basically you just need to disappear. But I really don't want to go into great detail at this time on that.
Somebody saying to Kristy that she
Yeah.
needs to disappear?
Pretty much, yes.
That same ex was given the polygraph test. His results came back inconclusive, but there was never any follow-up interview.
I think that there are motives out there if the police would look a little further.
But there are other exes in the picture. One of them admitted to keeping track of Kristy's whereabouts, and Kristy's texts reveal she was texting another guy the night she disappeared. With so many questions, we think it's high time to pay a visit to the sheriff.
We're curious too why the sheriff just won't hand over the case file to Kristy's parents. We've tried to reach out to him. He won't return any of our phone calls, any of our emails. So now we're here outside his office to see if he'll talk to us. My name is Jason Mattera. I'm with the television show Crime Watch Daily, and we are doing a story surrounding the controversy of Kristy Kelley's death. And we'd like to get comment from the sheriff. Is he available?
He's not available.
Is he here today?
He's not available.
Any reason why he's avoiding?
No, I have no idea.
For now, April is working to open the sealed file legally, with the help from a forensic pathologist to subpoena the sheriff's department. And at this point, after 3 harrowing years with no answers, Todd can only hope that one day he will know the truth about what happened to Kristy.
Where do you go from here?
Let's find out what happened, period. I owe it to my daughter, and that's kind of my stance on it. And my grandkids someday are going to want to know what really happened. I want them to have those answers.
People who followed this story when it first hit the news might remember that when Kristy Kelley went missing, there was speculation that her case might be connected to another missing Indiana mother of 2. Joelle Lockwood disappeared from the same area just a few weeks earlier. However, Lockwood would be found alive 2 months later, after police say she was held captive in a cage for weeks by a man in his trailer home. As of right now, police believe there is no connection between the 2 cases. I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.